What it do, glitches? It's your girl Goldie, and this is Sunmarked Lap 33. It's been a whole year already. What? This will be my second entry of this project. Last year we celebrated my 32nd birthday. This year we're celebrating my 33rd birthday. As you saw, it's inspired by Billie Eilish and Vanity Fair, and we are back with another solar return reflection. Let's get into it. My name is Amber White. The art world still knows me as Goldie Not Nice.
I'm currently working on renovating a school bus to become a mobile home and a mobile tattoo studio. So I'm declaring that this is the last birthday that I will be paying rent.
All right, so currently we are at your grandmother's estate. We moved in at the beginning of the year and we don't have to pay rent. We're not paying rent. The luxuries of inheritance. You said we wasn't paying another year of rent on our birthday, and we didn't. Shout out to you.
I am remembering who I am.
So, if we had to describe who I am in one sentence right now, simply put, I am her. And I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that right there for you. I'm gonna leave that right there with you. Okay. I love this question because I'm good for a alias. I'm good for ego. Like I love switching up who I exist as in time. So I actually assumed the whole Lady Lavender bit. Last year we said we was Lady Lavender, and we fully submerged into who Lady Lavender is. However, this year we have renamed ourselves as Artistic Priestess. You are capable of all things. You literally hold the power in your hand. You've had the Midas touch before anyone called you Goldie. Like you've always had the Midas touch, and you've always had the capacity to turn things into gold. So this year, Priestess, you are channeling and you are honing and you are becoming and aligning quite literally with the Artistic Priestess herself. The theme for this past year has been receiving. I learned that I have a complex with being receptive to things, and it's hard to allow others to do for me when I'm so used to doing for everybody else. So, theme of the year has been a posture of being receptive. You mentioned how your year was evolution, remembering who you are, who you've always been, but haven't allowed yourself to be. We have evolved. We are still remembering who we are because you never fully know, really. As long as there's always things to learn, there's always things to learn about yourself. And with that understanding, you never really fully know yourself if you continue to be a student. And in regards to tapping into the things that you hadn't, girl, look at us. Get into the material. We're evolving. Do you see it? Can you see it? You see it. Okay, girl. Lowest part of the year. I love that this question came back around because this time last year, I could specify what the lowest point of the year had been up until that point. But as I have been able to reflect on this series of questions this year, I don't know if I have had a lowest point. Not enough to be like, oh, woe is me. I gave too much of myself. Like I haven't experienced that this year. Like we really learned boundaries and we stood on them. we're not compromising. We're not overextending. We're not showing up in spaces anticipating other people's needs when they haven't been explicitly shared. Like, don't put yourself in a position to help somebody when they haven't asked for help, because then you find yourself doing work that nobody asked you to do. So, gratefully, humbly, I am here to let you know that the things that you were putting in place this time last year have bloomed and grown into full implementation. You don't overextend anymore. So there is no reaching the lowest because you identify what you have the capacity for and you don't do anything beyond that. So shout out to us. That desire to honor yourself, you did that. You did that and surpassed that. Because once you started feeling what honoring yourself felt like, you weren't going to do anything to compromise that honor, said honor. So you knew what you wanted. And I am here a year later to let you know that you got it. 3 words to describe me right now. 3 words. That is my 3 words. Magical as fuck. It don't even take a whole bunch of thinking, because quite literally all the products of the things that I desire are in the intent that I put out into the universe. Like, I can quite literally have whatever I want. And by my clarifying on that, enhances my magic and creates my reality. So, 3 words to describe us right now. Magical as fuck. Carry on. The current state of my art. Well, we've gone on a journey since this time last year. We started reading more books. We started into the collection of Zora Neale Hurston that then led us into They Came Before Columbus, which then led to Divine Dark Feminine Archetypes, which then brought me back to Lilith, which brought me to Mary Magdalene, which brought me to Jezebel, which brought me to Ashera, Sophia, Medusa. The current state of my art is a reflection of the research and the work that I'm doing with the books that I'm reading and the things that are bringing wrinkles, the things that bring wrinkles to my brain. Like, I love learning. And this past 12 months, we've read so many books to where the temperature and the space in which our art exists is a direct reflection of all of the intel that we've accumulated. And to put it plainly, our work is not only generational recovery. So we're understanding where we came from. We're understanding our ancestors. We're retelling our ancestors' stories in the ways that shine light to their benefits and not necessarily their struggle, because women in history have been left to a plaque on the wall, an honorable mention. What fairness is it to women growing up in society and the contribution of woman if she's been negated throughout history? So I've been deep diving this year into the deliberate erasure of the divine feminine. And I say all that to say my work is a reflection of reclaiming the narratives of the divine feminine and their contribution to the human experience. Because we've been there, we are there, we're gonna be there, and there wouldn't be any of this without the woman. So, body of work is power to the cooch, power to the puss, because we are the creators, we are the creatrix, and those stories deserve to be told. And we're telling them. Also, last year I mentioned I despised the whole robot thing and that technology is taking our opportunities. I feel different this year. I've I've recently finished reading the Celestine Prophecy, and it speaks on an insight where robots and technology essentially perform the roles that humans have done this whole time just for a matter of surviving. So if we allow robots to do mundane things that don't require us to sacrifice our happiness, I I'm reforming the way that I see technological advances and how they can contribute to the betterment of society. If we didn't have to worry so much about surviving and we let the robots do the aspects of things that we felt like we had to do in order to survive, we as a human species would be so much better. We'll be happier, we'll be more productive, we'll be more fruitful, we'll be more receptive and have reciprocal relationships because we aren't putting all of our energy into surviving. So I just wanted to revisit that technological bit because we didn't care for it last year. And rightfully so, with the rise in AI and ChatGPT and Google Gemini and all the things. But I'm ultimately realizing they're creating room for us to be able to do more as humans. If you don't have to go deliver food, if you don't have to sit and be a telemarketer, if you don't have to fucking Uber people all day, like, not saying that the things that are important or the roles in society that humans need to be doing aren't important and shouldn't be continued with humans, but the little things, you guys, let the robot go deliver the food, because then that leaves the person who used to deliver the food in a position to be able to do something for themselves. Right. Currently, I'm working on a self-portrait depiction of me as the goddess Hathor. I'll show you one second. So like last year was to do a birthday painting and be finished by my birthday, and it'd be a birthday gift to myself. Things happen, not even gonna lie. Like you actually have a social life these days and you're not as available to do things casually. Like you gotta pencil in and slot in times, because if not, you'll be doing other things. And so this is our current, show you an angle because that light is catching it, but this is the current piece. It's me, of course. And we don't have much left. We're almost finished, and we'll be finished before the end of the month. However, I didn't want to create any unnecessary pressure on myself. And if I wasn't getting to a space of being happy with it being completed by my birthday, then I just allow her to get completed in her time and not rush my process. Giving myself more grace and allowing myself to complete it in the time and space my piece is desired to be completed. That's not saying put off your projects. That's just saying understanding what capacity you have to actually complete them. And should be done soon. So y'all be looking out for this post because it'll be on the way. I also wanted to show y'all the piece from last year for my birthday that I mentioned that I never showed y'all. So one second. I talked about this, how this was one of the largest pieces that I had done, and it was challenging me to not be so meticulous about how I approach details, but this just made me put more details in a larger space. But this is becoming, like, we've grown up so much, right? She's a big mama, and I just wanted to show y'all that this is what I did last year, and I'll start adding this segment of what my birthday piece of the year is, because I also see some progress happening in how I show up when it comes around time for my birthday. So that's what we're currently working on. We're finishing up Hathor. and continuing on with dark feminine archetypes. Dream collab. Is it still Dolce? Maybe Nike. Because what they doing with that tennis girl, collabing, like merging the streetwear with the cultural representation and the looks, like streetwear meet high fashion. That's a sweet spot that I adore. So, if not Nike specifically, even Tom Brown. Ooh. Okay. More so now, my collabs will probably be with brands versus people. Just so it doesn't limit the capacity or limit the reach of the collaboration. I hate to admit that I am no longer as active as I used to be on social media. Call it maturing, call it elder millennial. I am trying to wrap my head around the hype of constantly creating to be perceived. I no longer have a desire to create to be perceived. So when I create for myself. I create for my own satisfaction. And if people enjoy it, cool. But I'm not left feeling unfulfilled because people didn't receive or perceive in the way that I created. Fuck that. Who gives a fuck? Do that shit anyway. Because then it don't get done and you regret not doing it. And who you was supposed to bless by way of doing it doesn't see it. So, do it for you. And it'll reach who it's supposed to. You apologized last year for the delay in content, but we should have known then that you were slow rolling out of feeling the need to create things for others to perceive. Like, this time last year, I was just like, ooh, I don't know how I'm gonna be doing all of this content, girl. I don't know how I'm gonna be doing my full gut and making sure that it gets recorded and edited and posted. Once I started accepting the reality of that, I'm like, oh, I update y'all when I do the shit. But as far as being able to record while I'm doing the shit, girl, I don't know, girl. I don't know. And it was far and few between because then everything else was then left to me. And I'm just like, I'm a singular human being. If somebody wants to help me with some editing, cool. But without that help, I got further and further away from it. To where now we don't even have a TikTok anymore. It still exists, but we're not active on it. We're not really quite active on Instagram either. And I don't have no issue with it. Those who are looking for me find me, and those we align with, we align with. It doesn't require a whole bunch. So, shout out to the season that got us to this point. To the multiple seasons, to the multiple moons that got us here. The last time I was creatively proud would have to be last week. Layla and I, hey best friend, Layla and I have launched a collective called Girl Blunt, and it's pretty much a open safe space for creative women and women identifying beings. I say it's for the gays, theys, the girls, and the girls, okay? And men have to bring offerings because the men don't come empty-handed nowhere. However, that was our third event that we had hosted last Sunday. And every time there are new people, every time we're further affirmed as to what we're doing it for and why it's necessary, we're ready for community. And we've always sought community. Being the eldest daughter, moving around a whole bunch, everything has always been outward and trying to find wholeness in relationships where they weren't even whole. So, you have organically curated your current social circle, and it is rippling out into something more beautiful than Layla and I had anticipated. We thought it was just gonna start and be a cute link up at the park, but it's turning into herbalism, holistic, wellness, plants. Like, it's the broadness. And our motto is where wellness meets joy. And so if it makes you happy, it makes you well. Do what makes you happy, and that will result in your health. Something I'm learning. That's a gem that I just figured out. But your joy is connected to your wellness, and your wealth is then connected to your joy. So joy is really like the powerhouse of how everything else happens in your life. How happy are you? And so, last week, Girl Blunt Part 3. Last time I was creatively proud. You mentioned not being in a season of having to dim yourself or be weighed down by anything. Girl, I'm so proud of you because I know where you actually were when you were recording this video last year. So to have been able to still articulate that, even though that wasn't your reality, only goes back to the 3 words that describe us this year. Magical as fuck. Because you knew what you desired, even if your direct environment wasn't reflecting that. And you positioned yourself, sister. We positioned ourselves, sister, to have all of our desires. And they came with ease, truly. Well, you know that by the time we get to your birthday, we've gone out of town for Ganny's birthday. And this year for her birthday, we went to St. Martin. I love the Caribbean. I love the Caribbean. Okay? I'm gonna just leave that there because we're gonna get to a point when we're gonna talk about this a little more in a second. My relationship with my body, legs and hips and body. Girl.
What you mean? Everything I thought I knew has some lens of another person's perception over it. So I am learning to be in my body and feel my feelings and allow things that I like to be and allow the things that I don't to not. So, yes.
Sister. Our mind, body, and spirit is more aligned than they've ever been. Sister, it wasn't a matter of the disconnection between your mind, your spirit, and then your body. It was a reflection of your environment. Because you are a reflector. We've learned that our human design is a reflector. So already out the coochie, we was rare as fuck. Okay, and on top of being rare, you reflect your environments. You reflect the people that you're around. You reflect the things that you consume, whether that's literally, figuratively, entertainment, financially. You are what you consume. And so when you thought that you had a disconnection between your mind and your body and your spirit, was never your disconnection, because you was always connected, baby. And people desire to have the connection that you have, but you reflected or assumed an energy of disconnect that wasn't even yours. Because, girl, you've always known. Because what we say, magical as fuck. That is it. That is all.
You're lying.
What are we still healing from? Interesting to consider, being that I mentioned that there hasn't really been anything that has like knocked me off my rocker. And I definitely feel that that's from all the things that I've worked on. Like, I've worked on the capacity. I've worked on being the eldest sister. I've worked on being a daughter to a single parent household, the eldest granddaughter, like that list of things that you said that you were healing through, you went to do the work. Like, you didn't just say you were hoping to heal through it and then just here we are a year later and unhealed and still bothered by the things that we were bothered by. Girl, you so unbothered. I'm so unbothered. We so unbothered. And also a book that I also read talks about that you can't place blame for where you are in your life on other people. Truly. You chose this life. You chose your parents. And you don't have to be a negative product of your parents. Like, you can take the aspects that you did admire about your parents, synthesize them, and become that version. Because we're here to be upgraded versions of our parents. And so if you only see your parents as negative and what they did wrong and how they failed you and how they could have done more, you're just going to perpetuate that need for more throughout your life versus acknowledging what they did, when they did it, how they could do it. Because what can they do about it now? What can they go back and change about the traumas and the things and the wounds that you already possess now? It ain't their responsibility, realistically. You leaving too much power for your peace and your completion on somebody else. Once we begin to acknowledge that we have control, we're the narrators, we decide what leaves and what goes, we make the final cut. What is the need to carry this whole Santa Claus sack of fucking trauma across your lifetime to be tired and exhausted and drained for what? Do those people give a fuck? You can't care more than they care, girl. So I'm proud of you because you've done leaps and bounds to where we were this time last year. And keep doing the work because you're only getting more unstoppable, sister. My favorite song right now is like everything. I've been listening to so many colorful things and I've been allowing the algorithm to like introduce me to new things. So I look forward to seeing what my recap at the end of the year is because there hasn't been a singular song that's just been on rotation. But for sure, Liberian Girl. Michael Jackson, you put some drugs in that song. You sure damn dead. You ain't got no business being dead. Because Liberian girl, you know that you came and you changed my world. Just like in the movies, two lovers in a scene. And she says, do you love me? And I said so endlessly, I love you, Liberian girl. Even, you guys, I started learning the saxophone. Let me show you Titus. I don't have the neck or the mouthpiece on, but you guys, get it. You see it? Layla plays the violin, and Titus and I have a line this year to make music. We are music. The music is in us. And so Titus found me, and I found him, and I have been learning how to play. So I think it's interesting that I just thought about Liberian Girl and Layla and I are learning how to play Liberian Girl.
Comfort watches right now, and I know it's because of my neurodivergent that I'm hyperfixating on them. So every time that I want to watch something, I put these few films in rotation. Within reason, because it's a part of the journey right now. It is Hamilton. It is Black is King or The Gift by Beyonce. It is Cinderella. We're not going to debate about which one I'm talking about because you know which one I'm talking about. And Mufasa. Yeah.
So it took us a long time to pull Mufasa out because that's what we were watching in addition to our comfort watches last year. But girl, You so consistent and you so neurospicy that Hamilton and Cinderella and Black is King is still our comfort watches, sister. So much so that you've manifested Hamilton into your reality. We went to New York this year. We went to see Hamilton on Broadway. Your very god sister Layla just took you to see Cinderella the musical for your birthday. We just waiting to see Beyonce now. Like, your comfort watches you saw in real life, girl. Like, talk about magical as fuck. The theme of the year, girl. You're quite capable of literally everything. Love that for you. I love that for us. Because I can't imagine how much more powerful we're going to be this time next year. Girl.
Color. Obviously lavender. It's called Sand and Fog, which is a amber vanilla.
When it works, it just works. I don't need to change up what is working. And lavender is working. And that stack, nasty. People be like, oh my gosh, you smell so good. Oh my gosh, you smell so good. If only y'all knew I've been mastering and perfecting my fragrance, like my chemical compound. Just go back and refer to how consistent I actually am. Because it shows. The consistency shows. Advice to my future self is continue showing up as you. That's what the world's waiting for. The world isn't waiting for you to be a version of someone else that you've seen do it the right way. The world is waiting for you to do it how you've been doing it and only how you can do it. Right. We are exactly who we think we are. We're even bigger, honestly. We're bigger than we think we are. And to think that we understand how big we are is to put a cap on how capable of us being bigger actually is. Release the need to put confinements around what you're capable of. Stop limiting yourself. Who are the limitations for? Stay studious. Like, look how far you've come just by being hungry for knowledge. Girl, this feels like a 5-year difference, and it's only been 365 days. Can you imagine how much more mature we'll be if we just keep doing what we're doing and honoring ourselves? This is a product of honoring yourself, sister. Keep going. You're doing something right.
Are we still a purple person?
Yes. Get into it. We're transitioning our closet into a full-on purple wardrobe. So, no need to wonder if purple is our color. We'll probably now live and die in it. We'll have a purple wedding. We'll have a purple funeral. We'll celebrate all of our birthdays in purple. We are Lady Lavender, and you said that last year. You said that. We are that. We are Lady Lavender, and that is our reality. Lavender. Yes, we're still a purple person, baby.
Is Outback still your happy meal?
It was. It was until they took the blooming shrimp out, girl. The blooming shrimp was apparently a seasonal item, girl. So I was getting unfulfilled having that whole season of blooming shrimp with the Caesar salad and the cheese fries. Girl, like, I can get a Caesar salad and some french fries anywhere. And you know, Outback ain't nowhere close to where we was living. So I found a new food hall called Halidome Eatery over off of Moreland Avenue. And they have a fire ass shrimp Caesar. And then there's another place across the eatery that has french fries. So at least once a week, you are over at Halidome Eatery getting you a shrimp Caesar and french fries. It's not from Outback no more. Excuse me. And I think that's a fair trade-off. It's closer and you get the full extent of what your Happy Meal is. So.
And how many times have you visited the beach this past year?
And girl, I don't know if we made it back to the beach after our birthday. I think we went to Houston. But even in Houston, we wasn't in no beach. However, this year, we went to Fort Lauderdale. We went to Venice Beach. We went to Puerto Rico, St. Martin. Like, you, look, we're sun-kissed. We was just at Alatuna yesterday with Nani on a boat. Like, you have no issue with water, and you know the conditions of the estate. So you're closer to water than you've ever been. And if you weren't at a beach, you've been taking trips, sister. You've been on the road. Like I said, we saw Hamilton. We went to LA for an art trip. We went to St. Martin for Gandy's birthday. We went to Puerto Rico on a girls trip. We went to Mississippi for Mother's Day. Like, girl, you've been doing the damn thing gracefully and beautifully and calling all the things that you desire quite literally into your life, girl. So, future questions for myself this time next year. Did you finish your birthday piece? Because your birthday piece really needs to get started on the top of June. When you get back, before you go on Gandy's birthday trip, you need to be started and you need to be finishing it when you get back from Gandy's birthday trip. Because by your birthday, we need to see a completed piece. This was real cute, what you had going on this year and saying that you was too busy to get stuff done. But this version of you last year got it done. So next year, we're going to get it done and not have the excuse of what's keeping us from doing it. 1. 2, how many beaches have you visited in the last year? And number 3, how was the Greece artist residency? Girl, you got accepted into an artist residency. We got accepted into an artist residency that's happening in Milos, Greece for the first 2 weeks of October. Come back and tell me how that went, because I know it's going to change your life. So, and just like that, we have wrapped up our solar return reflection. Again, this has been Sunmarked Lap 33. Where has time gone? What is even time? Like, time is a construct. Time is not real, because I felt like I just did this video. But
We'll be here same time next year. Until then, stay glitched and stay golden.
we'll be here same time next year. Until then, stay glitched and stay golden. I love y'all. And I love you. See you next year.